Hey family, hey family. This is Steve Copeland from the Coach Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Coach Conversation. Trying to fix my stuff. Now I'm gonna see uh if I can do my live on my Instagram because lately when I've been trying to do the live on Instagram, it's been telling me poor connection. So I'm gonna see if it do it again. Y'all know me. I had to get my Diet Pepsi and I had to get my coffee. And I just finished drinking coffee. So I had to make me another one. I thank God it's decaffeinated, right? It seems like I'm more hyper off the decaffeinated coffee than I am the regular coffee. So bear with me, y'all, because I was on a phone call uh talking with someone about the housing program. So for a lot of y'all that don't know, who might pop in, I am Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. That's my theme song. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. I come on Mondays, and when I come on Mondays at 4. I come on Wednesday at 4, and I come on Fridays at 4. The goal is only from 4 to 4:45. Now I say that, right, y'all. Sometimes I'm good at ending at 4:45, but then I do TikTok too. So sometimes I'm good at ending at 4:45. Let me see if it'll play on here. And sometimes, nope, it's a poor connection. Pause due to poor connection. Reconnecting. I don't think it's poor connection. It's just um I might have to upgrade, which I don't understand, my Instagram to be able to do lives on it. So it's not letting me do that. But to finish out what I was saying, um this is Monday, and on the couch conversation, it's about keeping it real. And if a lot of y'all don't know what that is, right? Um, the goal is not for me to come on by myself all the time. But if this how I have to continue doing it for now until I'm able to get some volunteers or other people that don't mind keeping it real, and I'm talking about life. What is based around is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. And that's how I look at it as a man of God, as a man that used to live a certain lifestyle over 31 years ago, who don't live that lifestyle today. So I use my personal experience to, I might share about certain situations, and then it's to go into the process of what we can do to slow certain things down or what we can do to stop some of the stuff. So it's bringing in solutions. And the phone call that I just got off, right, I was telling them about what happened to me last year because I'm on home monitor. I do this a lot in public. And for a lot of y'all that might not understand, because if you're not like me, and not just me, it's other people like me now, but I can only talk about Steve. I am a community activist. I'm a community organizer. I'm a homeless advocate. That's part of what I do. That's like my business with strengthening the community. As a homeless advocate, I have a temporary to permanent housing program where I work with men and women, individuals and families. But as a community activist, as a human rights advocate, I tend to fight with the organization that I'm with. We tend to fight against politics. We tend to fight against the laws that they create to hurt the moderate to low income people. If you live in a middle class lifestyle, or say like you live in a more conservative lifestyle where you don't depend on the state funding and the government funding, the federal government funding, as much as you would as that poor person. So we fight against like with Communities United, we fight for fair wages and we fight for fair housing. So if you're being discriminated against and we get a whiff of what's going on as a community organizer, as a community activist, as a human rights advocate with the organizations that I'm with, we will come up against you. So it's not personal. So when you hear Steve Copeland talk, and I go, Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation, Steve Copeland, that's just my talk show. The Couch Conversation show. And when I say it's about keeping it real, it's not for me to come on here and lie, manipulate, and get over on people. That's not how I roll. That's not how I roll. But today, Monday, which basically I talked about it a little bit on Sunday, right? I called it Sunday Couch Talk. I kind of like that. But I called it Sunday Couch Talk. And I was sharing about what happened to me, just like I'm getting ready to do now. Because now, look, even though keeping it real, and because my mouth, and this is what I was telling somebody just before I came down here, and she's studying to be a pastor, right? So I asked her, how did everything go with her test? But she said she passed it, but the numbers didn't come back right. But anyway, she double checking it. But anyway, we have the same mission. And this is what I was telling her. I said, business wise, I want us to come together because, see, I work with women and children. I have a female that reached out to me that want her own place. Her and I was talking because I have to get a better understanding of what you want, how you want it, so that way I can present it to other people. So now I'm on my pages for low income housing to let them know Steve Copeland, strengthening the community. I have a female with a 13-year-old that needs some help. I have a father with 6 children, but he don't have a lot of money. So basically, he need money. He needs Section 8 where he really don't have to pay for nothing. Now, mind y'all, I'm home. I'm on home monitor, so I can't go out and walk around in the streets. I have to make phone calls. So now, watch what I do. Because I am a human rights advocate, because I fight against the laws that they create that tend to hurt the poor people. Because if you're doing all the right things in your life, according to the laws they create that will hurt other people, they're not created for you. You better get a grip on it. You better get a grip. So now, because I'm the type of person that steps out and run off at my mouth to warn people, to talk to people, to encourage people, to motivate people, the powers that be don't like it. When I come into a room, I come into a room with solutions. They don't want it because it's more money off the pain and the suffering. Now, keep in mind, I'm most of the times watch when you see people, you might once in a while see somebody like a community activist or community organizer that's out there by themselves. That's doing this. You become an easy target when you don't have that group. And I'm used to having a team when I come out. But what happened to me last year, I was doing everything basically by myself. I had my daughters helping me and my son being a part of making sure the housing program went right and everything. But now, mind you, I will fight against whatever laws, not Donald Trump, for a lot of y'all, okay? Not Biden. Let me clear that up. The laws that they create to hurt people. No, the president don't have that power. It's basically Congress. But they're all in agreement together with things. The only thing the president does, because y'all giving too much accolades to people that do not deserve it, be honest with you. It's about the people. So now the only thing they do is either sign the bill or they veto the bill. They sign it into law. Now, mind you, I had to understand that's only a little bit of what I do in order to get a point across. So if you ask me to come and speak somewhere, you give me the topic, I am going to do the research on it. But 9 times out of 10, I didn't have an experience with certain things. So I'm coming back with what I've done. Or, with other people, because when I talk about me, I'm not just the only one. And what we do to help turn certain things around. Like with the school system. Like with the housing. I'm with a nonprofit that fights to reduce the police budget. I don't like telling people that. I don't like telling them that. Because we feel as though they're not doing their job properly no more. And be honest with you, a lot of the money that they're getting, the reason why we fought against that, for that money to go back into the community that needs it. We have a lot of nonprofits in the communities. Some of them getting funding for the community, some of them not. But when you do your business proposal, what you telling them is this what I'm going to do to build back up into that community. So they'll get their EIN number for a certain community to do their work in, but they'll take it somewhere else. How do I know that? Because as a community organizer, I come into the community to find out what organizations doing this and doing that. So now listen to what I'm saying. Because this is what happened. Because I do what I do. And normally I come in by myself. Like we was just talking about the organization that we both was with or with. I'm still a member of it. It's just that I haven't been able to actually participate the way I would like to. If not, I am a member too of the American Civil Liberty Union. So once I'm able to move about, I know they're out there in Hunt Valley. I will go and talk with them because I am a member to let them know who I am, what I do around in the community. because I need that backup, right? That backing. Now, last year, today is 4 South. I was locked up last year over central booking. I was locked up. To me, they kidnapped me and hid me away. I was over central booking, 4 South. Then I went over to the Metro Transit Transitional Center, where I stayed there for the rest of my time. In the hospital, though, they operated on my feet twice. I begged them to help me before. They neglected me. It got to that point where they had to operate on my feet. Now, mind y'all, what I'm saying once again, watch this. The police officer, me and him used to talk when his camera wasn't on. We was talking about leaving a legacy behind for our children and everything, stuff like that. You know, the work we doing around the city, blah, blah, blah. Me and this white officer. And TikTok, if you want to send a restriction, you can send it. I don't give a freak. Because that hurt me. Because me and this man would talk. But once his camera was on, it was like he was a total different human being. And know what they told me? They had to perform a certain way when they on camera in order to keep their jobs. Know why I'm talking like this? Because I'm going to end up making clips of everything I say. I don't delete nothing. So, one of my clients, somebody came out to talk with him about him disrespecting me. I did not expect for them to swing on him. All of this is in the police report. Personally, I didn't do nothing. That's in the police report. How, like I was just telling my friend, how you going to charge me with my rental property? I signed the lease for both houses because it's transitional. So I am the leaser. These are my tenants. This is just not my leasing property or my rental property. This is my business where I come to perform my business. So how is you going to charge me with home invasion, burglary, armed robbery, assault in the first degree on my nephew, which he didn't know? This is the stuff he wrote, the police officer. Because me and him had gotten to it on several occasions, so he decided to nail me. I knew what it was. He decided to nail me because I reported him to his supervisor for giving my client that I was calling him out about, and this is another one, to get him sent where he can get back on his medication. He was off his medication, so his mind was speeding. They never helped me with the client, but they kept coming for me. So when you come for me, this is my weapon, my mouth. And it's not personal. Now, mind you, I said, when you come for me, I'm going to go up as far as that defense. That's with anybody. You might have stuff that you use to take somebody down or do something like that. I don't carry stuff like that no more. I come from that, so I don't carry it. Because I know if I had those things, I wouldn't have a problem using it. I got to be honest with me. You can lie to yourself. I'm talking about Steve Copeland. Even though I can go and get one and all that type of stuff, I choose not to do it because I have to be honest with me. I might can't do it now because I got to clean some stuff up. But now, Let me go back. 4 South. So basically, I'm talking about the system. This officer, watch me do it again, because I had to, in a sense, respect the prosecutor, and I'm going to tell you why. They only can go off of the police report and the charges. The judge don't know the truth. The prosecutor don't know the truth. The prosecutor is not coming out doing no investigation. So now you got the police. Then you got the detective. Because they gather information to give to the prosecutor. Now, mind y'all, I ain't understand all this process until what happened to me. The reason why I'm saying it, because you have a lot of innocent people. You have a lot of innocent people who doing time or have done time for stuff they didn't do. So I'm looking at this officer and what he did, and I hope you're looking. State's attorney, assistant state's attorney, because I know where it all came from, and you know too. And you know that second police report and charges that they call themselves going back to January, from when me and this young lady was texting each other about the rest of her rent money for that month. How you gonna turn around and charge me with second-degree assault over texting, burglary over texting, harassment, because that's what they tried to break it down. And this is the way me and this lady always communicated. Now, mind you, y'all hear what I'm saying, right? So I didn't have a chance, because I didn't know what it was, to at least talk to a lawyer, and I mean a judge, and explain about Steve. I'm a homeless advocate. I house our homeless and less fortunate people. I help them by referring them to the professional help and turning the quality of their lives around. So this officer and this detective, and both of them are white, decided they was going to nail me. And the goal was to get him off the street. And they wanted me to see, just because they can write this and they can do that, how much power and authority they have. But they didn't know that Steve Copeland does the couch conversation. They didn't know that Steve Copeland do the Be More Real Teen Talk Show. This criminal. They didn't know that Steve Copeland helped to get the spy plane over Baltimore City to help reduce the unalive rate that was taking place in the city. They didn't know. But you want to make me out to be a criminal. You didn't know I helped Ivan Bates when he first ran for state's attorney. I supported him. And you didn't know I supported him the second time, Vanessa. And I was there January the 5th of last year, Vanessa, when he was out at Hubert's Memorial making his rounds. Vanessa, I was there. And the reason why I'm saying this in that manner, y'all, in this manner, because that hurts. When you fight to try to help turn your city around, you fighting, you know, coming together and trying to work with these people so that we can do a better job for the people in Baltimore City as far as slowing a lot of this stuff down, and y'all turned around and point fingers at me. I ain't mad, y'all. I'm just giving that look. I ain't mad. I'm disappointed. Because guess why? I haven't had the chance to talk with a judge to tell them who Steve Copeland is and what Steve Copeland do around Baltimore City. I'm on the front line. Pennsylvania North and Cumberland. I grew up west. So the goal is to help rebuild west. And then we can bring it over east. Then we can bring it over south. We can take it up north. But you have to start somewhere. But no, because of what this officer did, nobody asked me. Nobody. My lawyer told me, and I'm over the prison at this time, MTC Hospital, when he called me. He said, Mr. Copeland, I went on your Facebook page and I found out you are not the man they're trying to make you out to be. I said, thank you. Know why? Because I got a big mouth. And sometimes if I tell y'all what I do, and if I tell you everything that I do, or the reason why this happened to me, the first thing some of y'all will say, nah, something ain't right there. You had that, did that. You had that, did that. No, he didn't. It just don't sound right. I know. And I told my lawyer that. I said, it's bigger than the two clients they trying to say that I supposed to have done something to. I said, no, it's the police. But you know what the blessing is, and I didn't see it? I'm in the streets. I do rallies with other organizations. We do protests. We fight for fair wages and fair housing for the low to moderate income people in the Black community. That's what Communities United is all about. So I'm only doing basically what I was taught, to speak out. But it's a problem to the powers that be. So I'm starting to see a lot of this. I'm starting to actually see what's happening, right? As far as what's going on in the poor communities. I'm starting to see this. Now, a lot of y'all that might have grew up in the poor community no longer live in the ghetto. You're more conservative now, and I don't care about them, and they don't want nothing out of life. And you know what? You probably felt like that too at one point. But I can tell you point blank, I understand everybody don't want to make changes, or they don't know how. But if you're not willing to teach people how to turn their lives and their behaviors around, that's what Steve coming at. I ain't above reproach. I ain't at a point where I'm so high and mighty that I don't want to help the less fortunate. Some of y'all are. Don't get mad at me. I can't blame you either. Because sometimes I'll be like, I want to turn my back. Just like I watched our politicians do when they got in position. Turn their backs on the people. I was like, oh my God. No, you didn't. I listen to a lot of y'all. A lot, mainly on TikTok. You're giving people credit who do not have the power to actually do a lot of the stuff that you think they can do. And I'm only saying this because I am on the ground level. So whatever they do up top is what affects the people coming down. But you have to know who actually had the power and authority. But one individual, did it fly over your head? For some of y'all, that's Trump this, Trump that. That's one individual. Trump only the president. Biden, all of them. His job is to represent the United States when it comes to dealing with foreign affairs and stuff like that. Read up on your stuff. Because a lot of y'all want to run off at your mouth thinking that one individual, it's like going to heal the world. And I'm saying that because I listen to a lot of y'all. One individual. And when it comes to Jesus Christ, it's like Jesus don't exist to none of y'all. Because y'all looking for this one individual thinking they're going to change this, change that. We dealing with other countries, right? Now they talking about taxes. You got to understand this is a businessman. He's running a business. So his goal on top of that is to make money. It's to profit. See, y'all get it mixed up with politics. That's business. Politics is not business. So you think this person ain't going to go out there and make deals where it will fatten up his pocket even more? I can't wait. I can't wait. And I trip out on a lot of y'all that have these shows, and I'm looking at it on TikTok, right? And I'm like, do y'all really know what you're saying and what you're doing? Keep deporting the immigrants. Because you know why? They're going to keep arresting most of your melanated men to go and work these farms and stuff. They ain't going to work them by choice. So look what y'all did. You didn't set people up to become slaves again. That's your cheap labor. And on top of that, a lot of business is going to end up once again leaving because of the taxes. Because you have to create jobs. So if you create jobs, that means you need employees. So you create a salary. So that's if you got to pay for 10 employees to come and do the work, right? Produce or whatever. I was looking at somebody talking about General Motors the other day. And if they making $60 an hour or 50 or 40, they have businesses or government programs that will bring prisoners in. And those prisoners will only get like $3 a day. Do y'all realize a lot of them, and I just thought about this, right? In the prison itself, they have a sewing room. So they're producing a lot of the products for these clothing companies. Do y'all realize this? No, because see, you don't understand that side. Now, I didn't know, or I didn't see certain things to that degree. Because my thing is, if you do the crime, you do the time. You get me? But I didn't realize until some years ago that the prison is the biggest slave plantation in the world. And then I'm looking at, here it is. I was accused of something. And the prosecutor and all of them, right? This is my business. This is my rental property that I rent from landlords to run my business out of, but all of a sudden it's considered as a home invasion. But my name and stuff is on the lease, not the client's. I don't do rooms for rent. I don't do leasing. I don't do that. Yeah, you have to pay your way because I don't get government funding. So if you come into the housing program and say like that house costs like $1,500 a month for the rent, I have to collect that from you to pay to make sure y'all keep a roof over your head. The gas and electric, the cable bill and all of that stuff. Because the goal is to make you as comfortable as possible. So I don't get government funding to pay for your place. One day I might get there, but I'm an LLC. So I don't get government funding. For some of y'all to be like, well, you helping the homeless, they should have had to do this and they should have had to do that. The goal is to, most of them get like SSI or SSDI, or they are working, they just not making enough money to pay that $1,000 a month or that $1,200 or that $1,500. So the goal is to charge them a certain amount. So whenever they get ready, when they graduate from the program, to put them in something cheaper. Now I'm telling y'all what Steve did. I'm looking at rooms for rent today, right? Just looking at some stuff for some people, and they want 800. I don't charge 8. I don't charge 6. Now I'm sharing with y'all basically the business side of what I do. Business with strengthening our community, the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope. Now, when I get into being an activist or being a community organizer, and with Community United, what we do, say like if you're being discriminated against, and who are the people, and I'm not just talking about this, that's normally get discriminated against. It's your low to moderate income people. And a lot of them aren't melanated. So when you hear me say I fight for the democracy, or when you hear me say we fight for your civil rights, equal rights, and constitutional rights, I'm not just talking about a particular color. Because everybody that's living in the inner city is not melanated. But see, some people want to make it so personal because it's all about the black and the white. It's all about the black and the white. No, it's not. And I didn't understand that until we went to Detroit. And I started seeing that a lot of the Hispanics and, other cultures, I started realizing they suffering just like we are here in the inner city of Baltimore. So that right then and there stopped me from doing that. So a lot of y'all can keep doing it, keeping that black and white thing going. But when you sit back and you listen to other races, they'll turn around, cultures, right? They'll turn around and be like, well, we talk about they don't make no sense the way they do it, it don't make no sense because back in the day, such. And we'll just start whining and sobbing. And they'll sit there and say, well, y'all are not the only ones. Look at what we go through. And then you like, hey, y'all go through that too? That's how some of y'all sound. And if I wasn't doing the work that I'm doing, I wouldn't understand that the melanated culture is not the only culture that goes through this stuff. So it's not to lose you now. I don't want to I don't want to lose nobody. Because in the process of me running off at my mouth, I was charged with some stuff. False. First, the male officer did 15. And I know it was personal. I know it was personal with me and him. I know it was personal with me and him. And that opportunity of what happened with my nephew just opened up that door for him to say, I'm going to screw you, bro. And that's what he did. And then the detective who call themselves doing interrogation. Now I'm just sharing my experience. This woman looked like, and the white lady, that she looked like if she could have jumped across that table and kicked my black tail. And I'm looking at her, and you know how you feel it? I felt it. And then when she took them other two charges and falsified this other bull junk, I knew right then and I said, yup, she was mad. I said she was mad. Because what she did indicted me where I did not make it to my trial date for April the 9th. Prosecutor, already know what happened. Already know. So when you came in there, you call yourself running off at your mouth. Well, we know you didn't do this. We know you didn't do that. I know. And the people that y'all tried to accuse me of doing it know I didn't do it. It wasn't the truth. That's why they didn't show up. I don't know how in the hell you got people that don't really have nowhere to stay, but you kept you keeping in touch with them, and it's like every other month we supposed to go to court and it's being postponed. Who want to keep hanging around? Then the next couple of months come, it's postponed. So you telling me that they was actually gonna be there? You's a freaking liar. And I want to tell you that right in your face. And the reason why I'm saying this, y'all, because they are human just like us. And when you're wrong, you're wrong. Vanessa, when you wrong, you wrong. And you got to understand, I'm dealing with homeless people that don't have a particular address. Their families didn't want them in their house. So I'm kind of wondering, do they have actually somewhere to stay? Or they still, from place to place, or maybe sleeping in a shelter? But you want to make my lawyer think, oh yeah, I didn't talk with them and blah, blah, blah. And if they don't come, I'm going to do a body attachment. I said to myself, where you going to find them at? Where you going to find them at? Because number one, and I'm going to share this too, I have not gotten, since I've been home, know how I get my court dates and stuff? Because they are posted onto my, and I don't even go onto my, what's that page you go on to do the criminal thing to see what's going on? I don't even go on it. My lawyer and them stay in touch with that. Don't nobody send me nothing to tell me, oh, this your court date for this and that. Now, when they start doing that? When they start doing that? And then they sending like papers to my brother's house, to an old house, to this house, but I don't get nothing. And once again, I'm going back to the court system, the justice system, how y'all play people. And be honest with you, I'm like, God, why did you allow me to see this? Why did you allow me to see the corruption with the justice system. I'm in front of a judge and her last name Copeland too. She didn't even realize my last name was Copeland. She just light-skinned white. And she didn't realize you got the paperwork right there in front of you with Steve Copeland on it, spelled the same way. 9 times out of 10, my great-great-grandfather is probably some kin to you because he was white. My grandfather, no, my great-grandfather father was the white man. So 9 times out of 10, we probably related somewhere along the line. We're not like a Smith or Thomas or Williams. It's Copeland. That should have rung a bell. But now, this is what I had to realize. Y'all see how I talk, right? And that's keeping it real, and that's keeping it straight, that's keeping it forward. So I can speak out about certain things. When I'm out in public, no, I don't display to a degree where y'all might say, oh, that don't look like that guy. No, that's not how I roll when I'm out and, in public like that. But I'll bring forth a message. Please stop doing it to people. I looked at, come on. Trying to get his name. I look at Umar, Dr. Umar. And I'm not going to say he just real. He just real. He ain't got no problem in calling people N-words and all of that. He just real. And a lot of y'all don't have a problem with that. I was telling somebody about Farrakhan. He just real. And he raw. He have no problem with cursing and everything. And some of the other things I don't want to really mention because I don't want to look over and see that I have a restriction over here on TikTok because of a word. But the reason why I'm saying this, once again, and no disrespect to nobody, because I understand you is real good when you behind the camera and you can talk all this stuff. But my thing is, what are you doing? Like in the community wise to help make a difference. I sent the message over to my friend Tim Page, right? Because I was messing with Tim. And he's a Republican. And I said, I can't wait till January the 20th. See, I'm trying to be sarcastic because I already know it's not a freaking thing no president of the United States can do by himself. Y'all believe it. I know. Because I did the research to find out what can they do, what they cannot do. Because one individual, the way the 3 branches are of government is not for one individual to have all that power and control. I can read some of the stuff off my phone that I be texting and I be sending it over to Facebook for y'all that wants to give credit to somebody that I realize they don't have all of that power and control. Mainly when it comes to policies. And I sit here and I try to share with y'all that when Kim Klacik, we were supporting her and people wrote her speeches. Now, it all depends on what group you're speaking to. If you're speaking more to the conservatives or your millionaires, your middle class, your millionaires, your billionaires, I'm just saying you're more conservative. They is certain ways you have to present it. Do y'all realize that? So when it came to really talking to like the inner city people, it's certain words that you use that they can relate to. That's why they have their own staff or you know, their team. It's their teams that write their stuff down for them to speak. If you look at it, before Donald Trump was not reading off a prompt. He didn't start doing that until Harris came along. And a lot of Republicans know it. They know because he was speaking out of, they know he just speak. Because we was all talking about that. He don't stick to the protocols. And I'm saying this for a lot of y'all TikTokers that wants to cover his butt. When I seen him one day and he lifts something up and I realized he was reading off something, I said, about time. But you got to understand, he came up against a very educated person. And what messed me up with her, for somebody, HBUC, Harvard, it's like she didn't talk like she was educated. I'm like, and then she know politics. I was like, God. We in trouble. I'm telling you, see y'all, like I said, a lot of y'all don't pay attention to stuff, but because I'm here. And a lot of times when they write policies, when they write you know, laws and all this type of stuff, most of your organizations, because they're on that level here, they get the information first. Either you're going to agree with what policies they trying to present into law, or you're going to disagree. Is it going to really affect the people? Is it going to be harmful? Is it going to hurt the people? I mean, is it going to be helpful? So it's a group of us that meet together before we go to City Hall, before we go to Annapolis, before we go to DC. You just don't go to these places and not be informed. Like Candace, she stay up on stuff because she speaks out on it, because she gets, at times, first-hand information. And a lot of y'all don't, because you're not involved like that. And I'm only saying that because that's what got me in trouble. I'm only saying it because this is where my mouth gets me in trouble. Because what I have a tendency of doing is, we can call it like snitching, but not on y'all. See, I encourage you and I motivate you, if you live in a certain lifestyle, to come out of it. See, I ain't got no business. I mean, I don't have no problem. I ain't mean no business. I don't have no problem with coming into the rough areas and talking with our young men. I will come in like this. They can relate to Unc, to let them know I'm no different than them. See, it all depends on how you approach things. If I come in with my suit and my tie on, it's not to say they ain't gonna respect that, but then to them, it's like, man, we ain't trying to be like that. Because that's how I used to think when I seen you with your suit and your tie and you came into the community, in the ghetto, in the hood, and you dressing classy or classic or however, you know what I mean? And you meant well. But when you coming into the inner city, you got to dress down, baby. Because you got to make them feel like you understand where they at and being a part of. But if you seem any different on the outside, they will build that wall up. So for me, I had to come in and I always wore yellow work vests, even if I was dressed. And I ain't talking about the suit and the tie. I'm talking about just being dressed. Nice shoes, shirt, pants. I would wear my vest because it represents working. And thank God for my pastor, right? Because he always say that you have to adjust to the people that you're talking to. I became an ordained deacon in 2009. I'm not going to come in with certain people who don't really understand about Jesus Christ. So I have to come in as that fisher. I got to speak to you from a level of where you at. You know how they say babes in Christ? I can't come straight in just because I have grown or matured in my spiritual walk or my religious walk and then come in and start pushing it like that. No, I'm pushing my religious beliefs on you. No, because everybody don't believe. So if I'm on Fulton and North Avenue and you drinking and you doing what you do, right? I'll share with you some of the things that I've done during them times. I used to do this, I used to do that. And you might look at me and say, no, you don't, because you don't even look like you did that. Because I had people do say that. And I tell them, yeah. If they sitting on the curb, I'll sit right there with them. Because I don't want you to feel like I'm out of touch or I don't understand certain things. And that's the problem with a lot of our elected officials. That's the problem with a lot of our officers. Because you think because you have that badge and them bling blings on the side, that bling bling, right? That you above. Now your goal is to protect and serve. In the community, your goal is to protect and watch out for the people, help educate them. Help them understand that there are better ways that you can live your life. Being a correction officer, your goal is to help correct their wrongs. They ain't doing a lot of rehabbing programs no more, intervention programs. To prepare you for when you leave out of these places, you'll be better educated. Now, they're not doing that with they're doing it, but it's more of it that needs to be done. The intervention programs. You got to help people turn their old ways of thinking around, change people, places, and things. See, I can't go back around a lot of old friends if they're still doing the stuff that I was doing over 31 years ago. I don't care to be around all of that. Now, and I'm not going to knock you now. Don't get it wrong. What you do is what you do, what you do. But if you in that process that, man, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that, now I feel like you opened that door. But I'm not going to throw it at you. I'm not even going to throw Jesus Christ at you. I'm not even going to throw Allah at you. Or whatever names y'all give them. Because I'm not a Muslim. I don't speak the language. A lot of people might look at me for certain things that I wear and stuff. What's up, y'all? And I laugh a little bit because I'm like, I'm not a Muslim. I put on my little beanie stuff. Know why I put them on? Because I like them. It ain't because I'm trying to look like a herb. that ain't sound right. I just like the style. I put on my little dashiki. I'm an American. I just wanted some dashikis. But see, y'all will see me and y'all will, if I say I'm a Christian, well, you know, what was Christ like? Look it up. What was Christ like? What was Christ like? Philippians, 2nd chapter, verses 1 through 11. It talks about his personality. It talks about his character. So if I say I'm a Christian, I'm talking about being a loving, caring, considerate, kind, considerate man. When I read the part about him flipping the table over in the synagogue, I said, oh my God, he got mad too. So I am a human being. I have a good side and I have a bad side. But I strive to live more of the good qualities. You're a police officer. When your camera was off, we had a beautiful conversation. And I told you to, officer, when you told him the first time to knock down that door, I said, you're going to pay for that door. I said, you're going to pay for that back door. Now he's sitting in his car, we talking, we laughing, kidding, and joking. I said, you're going to pay for that back door. He did like that. And they're going to turn around with his camera on, gave what's name permission again, thinking that I wasn't going to let him in the house. I was taught, working with the homeless people and everything, right? Never put somebody out that's homeless to become homeless again like that. So if we having a disagreement or things might not go well with us, the goal is if I dial 911, that's because I don't want it to spin out of control. That's all. But those were some of the worst mistakes that I could have made, was calling 911, dealing with the street officers and the street supervisors. And it got to the point I had to take my truck, drive my truck down to the end of the block and call 911 on 911. It sounds crazy, don't it? But this is the stuff I was going through dealing with the Eastern District Police Department. I'm talking about the ones on the street. Because when I would go around to the district and tell them the issues I was having around here on the street, they didn't know. But they knew what Steve Copeland was all about. But then this officer turned around. And if you look in Brad, this officer turned around and created them charges. Then the detective, and I'm going to tell you, the girl brother had talked to the police and told them about the text me and her was having on January the 18th. And that detective went and made them charges up and got me indicted where I could not make because they locked me up on the 12th, so you get your 30-day thing, right? That was the 9th, where I couldn't make my court date for the 9th, April the 9th. And I could explain to the judge and everything. Miss, this is business for me. These are my clients. This is what I do, blah, 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 blah. My goal is not to, none of my clients, and I got assaulted too, but none of my clients I'm trying to hurt. The goal is to get you the proper help that you need. Because I know some people deal with depression. They deal with bipolar. They deal with schizophrenic. So the thing is, if you're not on your medication, or you got to the point, because your mind will tell you, oh, I don't need no medication. I don't need this. I don't need that. And that's why I encourage my clients to stop listening to that. No matter what, take your medication. When I'm talking with a client, y'all, and we not having like a normal conversation, when I know we have a normal conversation, and I see you thinking hard to put your words together, I be like, oh my God. I'm like, when the last time you had your medication? About a week or two. Why you ain't tell me you ran out your medication? This how I do my clients. So now I might have to call the psychiatrist, right? Because they the one that write the prescription. They out of their medication, blah, 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 blah. Well, did you try to reach out to the psychiatrist? Yeah, I tried to call them, but they ain't this and that. And I'm like, you have to stop when you know you get ready to run out. Like when you have about 5 pills left, a couple of days, before you run out so they can put the prescription in. This is how I deal with clients. Because I know how your mind will race on you. Because that's what is called a chemical imbalancement. Now, I'm not a professional, but because I deal with certain things, well, I deal with depression. So for me, if it has to be something really, really, really major from time to time for me to go into that wallow state, right? But I know how to do the work to come out. I know how important it is that you get on your medication. Stop listening to yourself. Tell yourself, I'm okay now. I don't need it. Because I used to do that early on. And then wondering why I'm speeding. So I have to tell myself, stop playing with yourself in that area. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Pedro Lopez, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to just say thank you. God bless you too. Thank you. I love it. What you just put. He put repent. And I had to read the rest. I had to hold my glasses up to be able to read down in the inside, right? Because you know what? See what you just said, Pedro. That's why sometimes for me as a deacon, I have to come a different way, because I understand you saying repent, giving, I'm gonna just say giving your life to Christ and stuff like that. I understand that. So I have to use other words. I'm just saying it. But I understand what you just said. I do. And that's why when I talk with people that are Christians, when I talk with people that's on that spiritual level where I'm at, now I can share from, whether we talking biblical or not, I can share from that level with them. We can talk from that type, conversation. But when it's somebody, and thanks, Pedro, when it's somebody that don't understand, I have to take another route. So I thank you. And that's where I'm at, y'all. And basically, Pedro, for what I just read, I didn't realize that when I got arrested, and I was sharing this too with my friend, because I told you she's studying to get her she's becoming a pastor, a doctor. I was telling her that when I got locked up, God took me to Genesis. And a lot of us look at Pharaoh as a human being, but Pharaoh was a city. And God told Moses to go to Pharaoh and tell them, I said, let my people go. Because the Israelites during that time was outgrowing them. And that was their way of gaining control over them. So what God started showing me is what's happening in the here and now with our organized religion and politics. Because this is what keeps our people enslaved and oppressed. Now, he's walking me straight on through the Genesis on up to Revelations. Now, I'm not going to get too deep, but I can only share my personal experience of what he did with me. And then on top of that, because I'm on my live stream, I'm only speaking, or I try to speak what he laid on my heart and my mind. I asked him to put the words here in my heart that he want me to say out my mouth. So the thing is, move me out the way. So when you see me, you're looking at me, and I understand that. And you hear me, I understand that. But you have to connect with my spirit. to really get where I'm coming from. And that's how I know a lot of times who's connected and who's not connected spiritually. Because I had to move away from this. Even when I'm in the church and my pastor teaching, I'll do this. And the reason why I go down is because I don't want to focus on the person. I don't want to focus on the person itself. I want to focus on the message. I want to focus on the word. And all the time, it's not for me. But it might, it's just I'm listening to God speaking through him to speak to me. Or I'm talking about my church because I don't go to everybody's churches. I just don't do that. I don't do it. So I'm listening as my pastor. That's why I go down. I go down because I don't want to get caught up in, dang, that's a nice suit he got on. And I wanted that jewelry real. See, I don't want to get caught up into that because that's not why I came there. I came there to hear the message, the word. Do God have a message for me? See, a lot of times, right, people get caught up in their houses, their cars, what they doing. And I did too early on. God told me, don't worry about that. Worry about what I told you to do. So I had to defocus off of, is my pastor really stealing the money? Or is my pastor doing? And be honest with you, I watch him give out more. I watch him, somebody might need something, and people done told me. He helped pay that mortgage, he did this, he did that. So a lot of the pastors, like TD Jakes and all of them, even though they have money or they get money the way they get money, however they doing it, and be honest, they helps back a lot more too than what we give them credit for. I don't get caught up in their lifestyle. I'm gonna just make this clear right here. I like females. Okay? I like them a little bit younger. I ain't talking about under 18. I'm 62. So when I say young, I'm just talking about a little younger than me. Right? So when I tell people that, now listen to what I said. I don't date older women. I need to because they're more mature. I need to grow up in that area. And I probably will one day. But I'm just saying, right? And do y'all know people will come for me because of what I desire? So I'm only saying this, right? Because I don't care what your lifestyle is. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you decide that because a man is not going to transform this down here, his gender, because he thought about it last week and this week he decided to do it. No, that's something they've been thinking about throughout their lives of making that decision. And then they finally get to the point of being okay with themselves, accepting and loving themselves for who they are. And they feel like they might be a female inside, or they feel like they might be a male inside. And this is the way they living. So now they want to transform this. Now, who am I to pass judgment on you? My thing is, I want you to be happy, joyous, and free. I want you to learn how to have peace in your life, where you're not worried about how other people perceive you and how other people look at you. So do y'all realize the work? Look at yourself. And if you living a normal life, whatever that may be for you, but you learning to be okay with you, can you imagine what the heck they going through learning to be okay with them? But then you want to turn around and criticize them for whatever choices they make in their own personal life. And guess what? From what I read up and what I understand, Jesus Christ loved them anyway. The Creator loved them anyway. The Creator already knew before they was put into the womb You're the one who read and study certain things, don't get it. You shouldn't this, you shouldn't that. Well, you shouldn't go out and do what you're doing. You ain't married. You shouldn't be having sex outside of wedlock. Well, I'm gonna ask that. Why? Sex is only permitted between, if you on that level, religious person or whatever, right? Between the husband and the wife. Not you and everybody else. I laughed because I thought it was with everybody else. I had 8 females at one time. What y'all gonna tell me? I prayed for 10. I didn't even pray to God. I prayed to the devil for 10 because I knew God wouldn't do it. I got to about 8. So I'm talking to this, I'm talking to that one, I'm talking to this, I'm talking to that one. And you know, each one, it's like you got to adjust to the personality and stuff like that. And it got to the point I was like this because I was losing me. And God removed them all. I would call one, hey, can I come and get you this evening? Or can I come and see you? Blah, blah, blah. Nope. Huh? So I would call another one, can I come and see you? Blah, 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 blah. Nope. And then it got to the point I was left with me. So whatever that was going on in here that I was running from, and I'm a freaking man, and I'm telling you about a man. I'm telling you about the man, woman. So let me tell you about me. I don't need you to tell me about me because you're not me. You're not. Just like I can only share from my level of where I'm at. But if you're a woman and I can understand if you're doing the same things I'm doing, we seeking for comfort somewhere else. but look, I'm just telling you, I was a hoe. I was a womanizer. And I ain't understand none of that stuff at first. Most of I was told it's a poor rat that had one hole to run in and out of, so I made sure. I don't live like that now, but I can share that because I had practiced that. I don't brag and boast of my son, making him think that's okay to do that. No, he got a good woman in his life, other than his mother. And I want him to have respect for women like that, as far as female wise, where you won't disrespect them in that sense. Because I was horrible. Now me and him starting to talk about certain things because he's a little bit older. But I'm letting them know I don't want you to think it's okay to be in a committed relationship, but sleeping with this one and that one and this one and that one and that one and this one and blah, 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 and trying to get notches under your belt and blah, 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 blah. No. And he probably looking at me on TikTok, so he understand. They understand. He's a great young man. And I want him to continue being a great young man. Now, I don't really want to say it, but I'm going to say it. His girl is in nursing school. So she's going to make real good money. I want him to make real good money where he can provide for his family, where she won't have to, because of what she's bringing in, do all that. The goal is now, they're younger, so y'all talking this 50-50 stuff. So I had to work jobs where I took care of my family. Our mortgage was $1,500. My wife only gave $6, and I took care of everything else. So when I hear y'all say 50-50, I'm like, huh? But now, mind you, I'm older. When I hear y'all talk about like Men ain't this, men ain't that, men this and that. But you got babies by them? Look who picked them. Because know why? I had to look at me. I'm only saying that because I had to look at, the females that I let in my life. But I'm the type of person, right? If you got a couple of children, I'm older now, so I ain't doing it now. I'm not doing it now. But if you have children and me and you get together and I really care for you like that, I'm going to take care of yours like they mine. So I'm older now, so I'm like, Steve, you got to stop. You can't keep doing that. Because I'm older. And I don't have that patience and tolerance for the little ones. So, you got to watch certain things. I mean, as you get older. That's why I don't understand why some guys, 62, 100 years old, and want to try to produce a baby. You ain't even going to be around to watch their kid grow up. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? When you have more years behind you, then there's a good chance you have in front of you. I couldn't wait for little Steve to hit certain ages. Now he's grown. He's 21. I was 41 when my wife had him. Hold on for a minute, y'all. I'm coming up on the west side of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in. Thanks, family. Look, I ain't gonna say her name, but I was picking with her, right? She had called me. Because I had gave her some numbers to call some people that can help her with housing, right? So last time me and her talked, it was November the 25th. Now, mind you, we used to celebrate my mother's birthday on the 25th November, which is Thanksgiving, the last Thursday of November. I'm thinking the 25th is Thanksgiving. So when she called me, right, I'm thinking it's the holiday. So, normally I ain't gonna answer my phone. So I end up answering the phone. And I'm thinking it's Thanksgiving, and she said, no, Thanksgiving is Thursday. Then it hit me the last Thursday of the month and stuff like that, right? I'm like, oh my God. I said, I'm getting old. So when she called me today, we laughed about it, right? And I said, yeah, that's why I was talking about you. That's why I was talking about that. She was like, you dummy, I said, I ain't mention your name. I said, I was just laughing, right? Because I thought November the 25th was Thanksgiving. And tap the screen for me, TikTok. And we bust out laughing today, y'all. And I'm gonna tell y'all, this is, and um I'm trying to keep it within the big, basically. I don't really want to say topic, but it's keeping it real in general. It's keeping it real. Just keep in mind, whenever you talk or listen to me, it's about keeping it real. But on Mondays, I'll start out talking about, I'm gonna say, Full South, the prison system and what's happening. And I don't like the fact, y'all, and that's being honest, that I seen the corruption personally with my own four eyes. And it's really disheartening. So I can only imagine a lot of our people. And when I say our people, I'm not just talking, I'm mostly us, right? But I'm looking at, when I say it, it's in general as a whole. But I'm looking at us, probably 95% of my conversation. But I help any and everybody. But I'm just looking at how they tend to play the people. Now, I wish I didn't experience it for myself. The reason why I'm saying that, because I have a big mouth. And I'm all right with having a big mouth. Mainly because I know I'm living right today. I can say righteous. I'm living right today. So if you come at me sideways, now I'm not going to fight or do anything in that sense to go to prison, but it was my mouth. It was my mouth. My First Amendment right. And you used it against me. And the goal is for a lot of y'all might sit back, and I'm gonna get back to what I was saying with her. Y'all might get to the point, like, you shouldn't be on here saying that. You shouldn't be on here saying that. I'm not the only one. There's people doing stuff too. I'm just a voice to speak out against certain things. That's all. And I understand a lot of it, can get you hurt. You know what I mean, right? I understand. But one day, guess what? God gonna say, hey, Steve, come on back up here with us. Dang, I like the way I said that. I don't know when. I don't know how. But I know one day your time is up, bro. So y'all can sit back and maybe you think you're gonna be here forever, forever. I already know. And be honest with you, deep in my heart and in my spirit, I believe I didn't earn my seat beside him anyway. It's just a feeling inside. So, Friday, Monday, for South. So I'll talk about the prison, I'll talk about the justice system, but then say like somebody might want to come up or somebody might want to come on my broadcast network, right? You might want to come up. We can talk a little bit about that. We can talk a little bit about this. We can talk a little bit about wherever you at. If you somebody that need a therapist or just to vent, just to get stuff out, that's why I'm here. That's all. This is therapy for me. I don't want to keep looking and say, damn, he handsome too. Cause I be looking like, damn, Steve, you're a nice looking dude, bro. I ain't always felt like this. So you see why I say certain things? Because I was a bigger dude. I always been big. When I look at my pictures and stuff, and I just look at men, I'm like, some days it's like, man, you're a nice looking man. Because that's how I build my self-esteem. And then some days I might look at myself like, you getting old, bro. You blah. But for the most part, I look at myself and I'm like, Steve, you ain't a bad looking man for 62, bro. You know, you can start dating little 30-year-olds, 35. But see, I have a 35-year-old daughter. I have a 29-year-old stepdaughter, 25-year-old stepdaughter. I've raised them. I have a 23-year-old daughter. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I always had to keep into perspective as I was raising them. And I'm in their lives, a lot of their girlfriends gravitated more to me because they wanted that father image. And I know a lot of men, thank you, Jesus. I've never stepped across that line. I watched them grow up from young girls to turning out to be, you know, blossoming and stuff like that. I watched that. I would go to the store and get their, little pad and stuff like that. Some of them might have had cramps. I would give them a couple of my pain pills for the cramps. You know, my daughter would tell me, Dad, such and such just started and they need some, pain medication. And I'm telling you, because I have girls. And right now, when I look at my 23-year-old and I look back at her girlfriends when they started hanging out at 10, because they went to the private school together. And I would get them on the weekends and I would take them to movies. I would take them to dinner. I would cook them breakfast, lunch, and dinner, stuff like that too. So I'm the only man in the house, but I'm watching these young girls, adolescent. I'm watching as they starting to mature now. And I told my daughter, I said, they can't keep coming over like that, because now I'm watching them as they grow. Now I'm a man, first and foremost, but I couldn't step. And I'm sharing this to help other guys understand that have daughters. So I know y'all understand. For us, we have to be very, 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 very careful. And I remember one of the young ladies' grandmothers told me, she said, I'm so proud of you. And I didn't catch it at that time. Now, mind you, I'm watching these little girls turn into young ladies. And she said, I'm really, really proud of you. Because I never tried to step across that line. I caught it later. I said, thank you. The same with the females that come into my housing program. They might be 18. They might be 19. They might be 22, 23, 25. Nice looking. And I have to make it real clear to them. My goal is to help you, not take advantage of you. And y'all know I can. Because if they feel like this is the only way they can pay their way, they'll do what they do. And I'm like, no. So when you try to make me out to be a monster, this freaking prosecutor, piece of trash, when you try to make me out to be a monster, and I'm trying to be nice because I know it didn't start with you. It started with this police officer. It started with this female detective that felt like, oh, we're going to screw you. And my lawyer know. He know. I come off a home monitor. Remember I showed y'all the paper yesterday? That Monday, November the 4th. November the 5th, I went to go to probation, parole and probation. It was closed because that was election day. So I had to go back that Wednesday. By this time now, mind you, the judge told me to go and get the home monitor off and then go to parole and probation. So now Wednesday, the judge changed her mind and you called up ASAP and laid them out for taking me off, making them think they was wrong. You see why I was talking about this, right? This was the prosecutor. I asked my lawyer to straighten it out. I said, straighten it out. Because that wasn't the agreement we supposed to have. I came off. And all of a sudden, you gonna go backwards. I'm thinking you drinking. You making me think you doing something, white girl. And I'm saying it to be smart. I'm saying it to be sarcastic. I'm saying it because you're mean, you're nasty. And like I said, y'all mess with the wrong big mouth, bald head black dude. I'm just calling your first name. And I'm doing it to be smart. Because there's a lot of Vanessas out there. And my way of saying that too, because I'm hurt, y'all. I'm hurt because I look at everything I do to try to, work and helping to turn our city around, moving people in a more healthier place in life, only because that's what people did for me. And then when you sit back and you want to make me out to be a monster, that's not a real good feeling. Ew. It's not a really, 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 really good feeling when I'm out there and I put my life on the line. I don't know who might want to take me out. You're not out there. See, when I start acting goofy like this, time for me to get off. But you're not out. And then you're going to take me off home monitor. And then you're going to turn around and put me back on. The judge told me to come off. But then the prosecutor going to turn around and I want that phone number to ASAP when I call them and I can't get through. How in the heck you get through? Vanessa. And laid them people out, making them think they was wrong. They told me when I went back up there that Thursday, because my lawyer told me to go, right? So I said, I ain't going because the judge told me to call you. He said, Steve, go ahead so I can straighten this out. I said, okay. And then y'all want me to go back up there, get this box on my goddamn going feet. And then I'm sitting up here thinking about our ancestors, right? They came across on the Mayflower. And I'm sitting up here with this ankle bracelet on, right? Because I feel like it's one of them, what is it? Like chain. I got chains on my leg. I'm trying to think of some old Negro spiritual songs I can sing. Like they did coming over on the boat. Lord, help me to hold out. Come on, guys. Lord, help me to hold out. Because they got the chain on my ankle. I think I'm going to record this and send it back over. Lord, help me to hold out. I'm telling y'all, I feel like with this thing on my ankle, Lord, help me to hold out. People be like, just thank God you home. I do. But do y'all know the work it takes to try to stay positive? I had this on my right foot. I had the cord charging up at night. I looked down. I had a burnt mark on my feet. I lost my big toe. ASAP, you hear me? I lost my big toe. I had my right foot operated on 3 times within a year. And I lost my big toe. Why? Because this white boy decided he wanted to create some fake charges on me. 15. So, with me saying that, look at the Innocent Project, right? Look at a lot of our men and women, but a lot of our men that is being charged with stuff that they didn't do. And you said it yourself. Even though we know you didn't do this, you didn't do that, but we're going to give you something. We're going to give you something. And when I heard that, it'll leave sooner or later when I'm able to move on with my life. But when I heard that, I'm like, you know, all this stuff was fake and phony and set up. And they be knowing it. Why y'all allow me to see this? I don't know. I've been eating. It's like I got a little headache, so I don't know if my blood pressure went back up. But I don't have my machine, and what I've been doing, which is good to me, it's good to me. Starch wise, I'll put on some oodles and noodles. Then I have frozen vegetables, so I mix my frozen vegetables with my oodles and noodles. So I got my starch, I got my vegetables, and I might put a couple of hot dogs in there, but I had boiled some chicken yesterday, so I'll put the chicken in. And the only reason why I'm saying that, because I noticed slightly I've been getting like a little headache, and I'm hoping it's not like the starch or the salt and the noodles, because I'm just looking at it as starch. So I got my little thing of starch, I had my vegetable, and I had my meat. So I'm kind of looking at it like that, but I mixed it all together. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I'm hoping this daggone stuff is not giving me a headache. Like, because of, I don't know how much sugar might be. I mean, I'm sorry, salt might be in the noodles. But rather I do the noodles or I do rice, because I do have rice, I do have macaroni and cheese, right? So I'm just looking at the measurable amount of starch and vegetable. You know, I can eat as much vegetables as I want. So I might mix the mixed vegetables with it. I might do the broccoli with it, or I might do the corn, which is basically part of starch too. But I'm just saying that because I kind of noticed that from time to time my head like kind of hurts. So I'm hoping that um my pressure is not shooting back up too bad. That's all. I love y'all. I've been on here for, I came on at 4 o'clock, so it says an hour and 44 minutes. So the goal, y'all know my goal. I ain't even said it this time, because it was to only keep it at 45 minutes. But what I begin to understand that That's, once again, that's what I say from 4 to 4:45. That's what I say. But then as I begin to talk, and I'll talk a little bit about any and everything. So, like I said, it'll give other people, like if you want to, come in, um, you can come in, we can talk about stuff together. I'll shut down and I'll have no problem with shutting up and listening to somebody else. I have none, you know. But this talk show I've been doing now for about 3 years. And I understand, the thing is to get it to grow, you know, to get it to grow. Um, TikTok, I don't know what's going to happen really with TikTok in January. I don't know, but either way, I still can do my Restream broadcast network. Now, I was looking at something on Twitter where I was looking at my live on Twitter, and it basically gave me a page for the couch conversation. So I hit that, and it took me over to not just me doing the couch conversation show. It's a bunch of other couches, programs over there too. And it just amazed me, right? Because I've been doing it for a while and it's my stuff. So it's being seen basically all over. Even though I will go over to, I'm going to say, Twitter, because I don't want to mix Twitter and Twitch up. I'll go over to Twitter, which is X, Elon stuff. And I might have 7 viewers, but then that's because of what it shows there. But it's a lot more people that be watching your stuff. Even though your views, like right now on my network, is saying 3. That's why I was told never pay a lot of attention to the viewers. But then when I go to check back on it and do the analyst thing, it will show me more people was looking at it than just 3. So now, in the process of me saying that, the only reason why I'm saying it, because to start your own broadcast network is to grow and monetize your stuff. Now, we can't do this without y'all love and support as far as sharing our stuff, talking about the couch conversation, sharing the information, commenting. And I'm not saying don't like, if you feel like something personal against me, don't do that. I'm just saying, because I don't know how you might personally feel, or you might look at me and might not like what I got on, or you might not like this, or you might not like that. And that's you. But my thing is, don't judge a lot of us like that. And you don't want to share. And I'm talking about us, and embrace what we're doing or trying to do. It's not too many shows that might come on and talk about reality. Now, I can talk about, you know, rape, molestation, and all that type of stuff. I can talk about that on here. But certain things on TikTok, they will restrict it. Restrict certain words. They'll send you something because you can't use certain words. So I'll go and check in that, because if it's against community guidelines and it wasn't meant to like offend or hurt anybody, I will go and put something in. And I'm trying to think of what it's called. Why don't you say rebuke it? But I'll put something in because it might, the way I say it, it's not to offend anyone in any way, even though it might be in their community guidelines as an offense. But once they look at it and they realize that's not what it was really meant, they'll remove it. But it's not to block me down. It's just they just want you to watch certain words. And I have watched other people talk show or lives, and I've heard and seen some rough stuff. And some people did get blocked, or they just didn't block that person. They block you, where you can't go live for a while. Come live on nobody else's stuff. That's not my intention. When I come on, is to keep it real and try to keep it real to the point where won't nobody actually get offended. But I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And when you're dealing with a panelist or a group of people, sometimes people say stuff and don't realize they can't say certain things on, TikTok and stuff like that. So, but I want to thank y'all for the love, for the support. And like I said, the Couch Conversation Show, I think we use that word monetize, where the goal is to get it to the point where, I can financially benefit from it. But I love doing what I do anyway. When I'm in the community, the goal is to help encourage, to help motivate, to help empower, and it's mostly our melanated men, our ex-offenders, our returning citizens, our veterans, our disabled men. And see, it's just building back up on the character of the man. Y'all know Marlo Hargrove and myself with Charm City Community Supportive Housing, have a 40 to 50 bed housing program where, as long as you have medical assistance or Medicare or CAID, you can get into the program. You don't have to pay because medical assistance will pay for everything. Your personal money you will get to keep in the bank and let it accumulate and all that. Because the goal is not to keep you forever. It's for you to come in, do the necessary work. You're in a temporary living situation, and for you to go into a permanent place. And that's the same things with the women too. The women and children, which I mainly work with. So I haven't put nothing up about it lately, post anything. Marlo had been giving out food. He had been, trying to get the building in order. He working on the floor at a time, making sure everything's set up right. The curtains are hung right. The beds and the sheets, the blankets, stuff like that. Everything is set up right. So I just feel uncomfortable because by me being on the home monitor, I can't be over there to help them the way I would really want to. So basically everything I have to do is from here, from home. Even when it comes down to preparing for meetings, I can do it all here. But for me, I'd rather be over in the building, at the office, at the work site, where if I want to have business meetings, we can have it over there. Make it feel more like business. We can still have it here too, if it gets to that point. I'm just sharing with y'all a lot of what God laid on my heart and in my spirit. So a lot of times, like I say, when y'all hear me talk about as a profession, I drove tractor trailers. That's my profession. So me being over in this arena with the LLC, with the helping the homeless and the less fortunate, this is God calling. And a lot of us have a calling on our life to embrace his people and build up his people that need him the most. And we're afraid to walk in that calling. But then wondering why we having so much, why our spirit ain't at peace. That's because you're not being obedient to what God called you to do. I remember running to at one point. And that's why I try to remind y'all that what I'm doing is something that God called me to do. So you won't personally look at me and like, well, he think it's all about him. It's this and that. He doesn't know. And I'm telling you, I know how it feels to, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to do this. And then I had to realize it ain't really about you. Why it ain't about me? It ain't about you, Steve. So you have to deny yourself. But you got to understand about yourself. You got to understand about the person, the human being. And saying that, what I'm trying to get to is, and I made that statement while I was talking to someone on the phone. If a man don't know where he came from, he won't know where he's going. If you don't know where you came from, then you won't know where to go. And that's why a lot of men is lost today, because they don't know where they came from. In order to plant their feet on solid ground to be moved in another direction. So when you know who actually created you, when you know who knew you before the foundation of this world, when y'all hear me say I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate person, that's my personality as a human being. But I know who prepared me to walk the walk that I'm walking. And I was getting ready to say to preach the but and this is like his way of me doing ministry on social media. So I love y'all and I'm out. I've been on for almost 2 hours. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. Love your family. And y'all have a safe rest of today. Take care.